I'ma say this straight up, Zhang Hao is going solo but in China. ZB1 debuted like yesterday. But today we're doing some post-disbandment predictions. Also all I'm gonna say is that my boys' planet predictions were almost all correct, like genuinely psychic level. I sometimes even got their exact positions and storylines weeks before the release like it. I think y'all should trust me on this video as well. Great, that's literally all, let's just start. I think Newjeans is one of the most said out of the group's members. It's pretty much a no-brainer that he's gonna debut in a new Yuhua boy group. I actually see him taking a wonyoung journey in sense of like maturity in his new group. I also see him as the center or face of the group. Again, I don't see him leaving Yuhua. Maybe not by choice, I wouldn't be surprised if they like lock him up so he can't leave. Now whether or not this new Yuhua boy group would be successful is debatable. There isn't really any post-disbandment boy group that is like a group. To be fair, of course, we only really have one Oni as a reference since X1. In the end, I see Newjeans debuting center or high position in a moderately successful group. Not ZB1 or Rise level, but maybe like Boy Next Door level. This is not a Boy Next Door read, remember I'm the first ever Boy Next Door fan to exist, so don't speak on me. This section is gonna hurt me so bad. I don't see Jiwoong redebuting in another group, and here's why. By the time ZB1 disbands, Jiwoong would be to 7 to 8. And by the time he redebuts, he would be to 8 to 9. Obvious, the first obstacle is that he would be going straight to the military around the time ZB1 disbands. Which, now that I think about it, Jiwoong would actually be around 30 to 32 by the time he would redebut and had gone to the military. By the time Jiwoong redebuts, kids born in the 2010s plus would be debuting. I'm all for adults and grown people debuting. But in my personal opinion, I wouldn't want to be in a group where the youngest has a chance of being 10 to 20 years younger than me, including my non-group co-workers. I do see him doing some solo music work, and I think that's a better fit for him. Jiwoong has one of my favorite male vocal tones, and his voice is just so good. The person I could maybe compare it to is Jaehyun from NCT. In terms of tone and sound, their voices are deep but not in a try-hard sexy way. In a very soothing and just so nice to listen type of way. Jiwoong would be amazing as an OST singer, and I think his solo music would be really good. However, if I'm being honest, I don't see his post-disbandment success coming from music or being an idol. I definitely think he's going back to acting, which sucks cause I can't lose him again. Final verdict: give him a solo album and send him back to the acting studio. Roommates of Poong Duck Season 2 releasing 2030. This is probably gonna be a quick section as well. I see Gyuvin debuting in Yuhua alongside Newjeans. That's literally it. I also think he should have his own little show like Sakura. And Jiwoong, I think he'd be really good with that. Overall, he gives me like influencer, entertainer vibes. My final verdict is redebut him with Newjeans and give him his own web show. I see Taerae leaning towards solo work. Perhaps even like ballads or have a Lim Young-woong type of career. I definitely think he'd be one of the members to have his solo work chart like crazy and consistently. He just has that voice and look that older fans and the Korean public loves. I can just feel it in my bones. Plus, during Boys Planet, Taerae was one of the most popular members in the Korean fanbase. I see him doing some acting gigs here and there, but that definitely won't be his focus. The reason I don't see him debuting in a full group is because his voice is just so distinct and perfect for solo music. Also, the more I go into each member, the more I just don't see them fitting in any other group other than ZB1. Therefore, my final verdict is soloist, Lim Young-woong of 5th Gen with 3 small acting gigs. I think Gunwook's talents shine best in a boy group, so I see him debuting in one. And this isn't a bad thing. There's some idols that are soloists that just aren't fit for groups and vice versa. Gunwook is built for a boy group, and I think he'd make a great center. However, I don't think he'll debut in Jellyfish. At least I hope not. I hope another company picks him up because, like I said, he'd make a great center. Maybe even Yuhua could pick him up, but I doubt it. Therefore my final verdict for Gunwook is boy group excellency. Once again I see him re-debuting with Gyuvin and Newjeans in a new Yuhua boy group. There's a super small chance he goes back and becomes a soloist or model in China, but he just gives K-pop vibes. And I don't think that would be the best choice for him. If he does go back to China, he most definitely stays in Yuhua. There's just no way Yuhua lets go of any of their trainees. I mean, all of the Yuhua boys in Boys Planet have extremely solid fan bases. Possibly more than we've seen in a while. Also, here's why I included the possibility of Ricky not debuting with Newjeans and Gyuvin. Simply put, there's so many Yuhua boys both in ZB1 and other Boys Planet project groups. And the size of groups just keeps getting smaller and smaller. On average, boy groups have 5 to 7 members. If every ZB1 Yuhua member debuted, that's be like 4/7 of the team. Even so, out of the 4, I think Gyuvin, Newjeans, and Ricky are the ones most likely to debut together. My final verdict is boy group in Yuhua with the possibility of soloist in China. Honestly, I'm a little stuck on what I see Matthew doing. After disbandment, maybe he could go solo, but I think he fits being in a group. A little more, he's probably the only one where I think it could 100% be either or, and it'd be fitting enough. If he were to re-debut in a group, I see him with Gunwook and also in another agency. Though if he were to stay in MNH, I think he's most likely going solo. Another outcome I could maybe see happening is that he steps back from idol life for a bit before re-debuting. Something like what Chaeyoung did. He could definitely start doing a lot of variety shows, like being a recurring cast member or even a host. Okay, my final verdict is joining a group if he leaves MNH. Doing variety shows for a year or two before re-debuting solo if he stays in MNH. Okay, the last 2 members are probably the most difficult to predict. What I think is most likely for Hanbin is going solo. He most definitely has the fanbase for it. As well, he has great general public appeal and support. But also he just fits perfectly in a boy group. Even so, I think he's most likely to go solo. The only way I see him genuinely re-debuting in a boy group would be if it were with Zhang Hao. Here's also where I wanna address the Hanbin aspect. That will definitely play a role in how they both will continue post-disbandment. While I'm sure some of you may be annoyed at the fact that neither can be brought up or celebrated without the other mentioned, you really can't deny that their duo will be brought in 2.5 years when the companies are making final decisions for their potential futures. Hanbin as a duo is so profitable and so obsessed over that their companies obviously will have to consider letting them re-debut together. The pro-social relationship on this duo, girl, it's so crazy that I can genuinely guarantee you that if they were to debut in a new group, any and all interactions they have with other members will be compared to Hanbin. Ultimately, this is why I think Hanbin is most likely to go solo. Hanbin also seems really loyal to his current company, and just in general, so I think going solo is the best fit for him. My final verdict is soloist, with a slight chance of joining a new boy group. I'ma say this straight up, Zhang Hao is going solo, but in China, I really don't see Zhang Hao going into a new group. Due to his huge potential as a soloist, because of fandom size and general popularity, and that's also why I think he's going to continue in China rather than Korea. Of course, there's a possibility that he debuts with the rest of the Yuhua, and I definitely see why most would go that direction. In terms of prediction, even so, Zhang Hao's popularity and skills would be more suitable for a solo career, and Yuhua will definitely take advantage of this. My final verdict is a solo career in China, with a huge maybe of re-debuting with the rest of the Yuhua boys. I think this group, as a whole, will be extremely successful post-disbandment. There's even a chance that ZB1 doesn't disband, if all the agencies decide to let them continue. Anyways, that's all my predictions. This was a simple video since I'm getting ready for my 1-year anniversary of making this channel, which I am planning to reacting to my old predictions. If any of these come true, I take credit cause they were all positive. What are your predictions for the members? Did you agree with mine? That's all for today. See y'all soon or whatever.